Hey, YouTubers, YouTuberettes, how you doing? Night Door here. A little bit of quick housekeeping. Missouri Meerschaum General. It's not a MacArthur, it's a General. The MacArthur are the really tall ones. This is 3 inches tall. And it's a natural, unfinished, with a forever stem from Walker Bryworks. And I'm smoking Boswell's Bear Blend, which is a cherry caramel mix. Sent to me courtesy of Sean. Thank you, Sean. Now, this video is in response to kirkkeener32 has a little contest going. He wants everybody to make a video discussing their best drunken story. Well, I've got 2 of them. They both center around being in the Army. During the course of my 14 years in the Army, I had 4 different MOSs. One of which was 91S, 91 Sierra, which is an environmental health specialist. It's a fancy way of saying a health inspector. You go around to kitchens and mess halls and make sure they're clean. And you go to school for this at Fort Sam Houston, San Antonio. And I was down there for AIT, and it's co-ed. Guys 1st and 2nd floor, girls on the 3rd floor, all in the same barracks. And it was one of these kind of barracks. That's up on stilt, like concrete stilts almost, pillars, and with a big concrete, slab underneath for where you fall out. And there's always NCO or NCOs or officers around to watch over you at night, make sure you're not screwing off, because they always are trying to catch. It was a co-ed company, so if they caught you intermingling with the opposite sex, you get in trouble. Article 15. And one weekend, we discovered, for some reason, there was no sergeants around. There was no sergeants around. There was no officers around. Nobody was around. And naturally, we took advantage of this. We sent some guys out to pick up some kegs and bring it back to the barracks, and we proceeded to have a huge kegger underneath the barracks. And this was like on a Friday night, and it didn't take too long before we split. Excuse me, stiff neck. There. Didn't take too long before we all, started to split off into couples and disappear in the darkness. And it was at this time that the sergeant came back. And when everybody was like, split off, and basically, we didn't go very far. We were just, in the darker corners, away from the overhead lights, but just, right there on the ground underneath, the barracks. And some people actually, were ballsy enough to go up and, in the barracks and make use of their their bunks, but I was just on the ground with a whole bunch of other people, and that's when the sergeant came back, and luckily he came. I was farthest away from the parking lot, and I could hear the commotion on the other side of the area of the people that were getting disturbed by the sergeant, and somebody, but I was too drunk to really understand what the hell was going on, but somebody grabbed me by the shoulder and said, "Hey, Carter, get up, the sergeant's coming." And me and the girl I was with, popped up and started getting dressed, and luckily we had ourselves put back together before the sergeant actually got to us, and the fallout from this was tremendous. There was, I cannot remember how many Article 15s were, for people, sex in public, PDA, public drunkenness. Luckily, they didn't give out blood alcohol tests to everybody, but seemed to focus on the people that they had actually caught. With a girl, and so those that they didn't actually catch red-handed with a girl, they sort of ignored, and so I got away lucky from that, and that was that was a great weekend, never to be duplicated, of course, because they never let us alone after that. And oh hell, that wasn't when I was going to school for health inspector, 91S. That's when I was going to school for 91B. I've been a 91B, which is a medic, 91S, which is a health inspector, 11 hotel, mechanized infantry, and a 19K, which is a tanker, M1. And that was when I was going to school for a 91B as a medic. Yeah, okay. Couldn't quite remember. And then the second story when I was in the Army was actually after I got out of the Army and I decided to join the National Guard. We went up to Camp Ripley for a weekend drill. We had to qualify with M16s that weekend and other weapons, like 50 cal, 9mm pistols, and 40mm grenade launchers. So the whole, it was basically a qualifying weekend. And they never had, this was before 9/11, so the National Guard at that, was back then was just, like a good excuse to party and get drunk. It wasn't really, super, gung-ho, or, like it would be today when you got, the fallout from 9/11. But back then it was like just an excuse to party, and nobody really minded us drinking and partying. Everybody knew they did, we did it, and it's like, well, as long as you, keep the noise to a minimum, it's okay. And so Friday night, we were all in the barracks playing cards, poker, I believe it was, and drinking, and to the wee hours of the morning. And I remember in the morning when we got all woken up for breakfast, for chow call. I woke up and instantly had to throw up, and I just flew out of my bunk and started heading for the bathroom because I didn't want to just throw up on the floor because I knew they'd make me clean it up. And I didn't make it to the bathroom. I made it to there was a supply closet, the janitor's closet, which had like a sink in there for mop buckets and things like that. And that was closer than the bathroom, so I go rushing into the janitor's closet, right? And just as I got to the sink, it was an involuntary muscle spasm. I couldn't stop myself. You know, it's like I could no longer hold it in. It was coming out that second, and my body just like shot forward, you know, convulsed forward, you know, as I suddenly, you know, bent over, like I said, convulsively, and to throw up in the sink, and I went forward so fast, and uncontrollably, I hit my head on the faucet of the sink, the mop bucket sink, and actually knocked myself out. And my head was split open, and I had to go to get stitches in my scalp, and then still had to go qualify with weapons. So me and everybody else that was drunk from the night before, now we're all hungover, out on the firing line, terribly hungover, you know, weapons fire, you know, pounding headache, and I had to qualify with a 50 cal, and I had forgotten my earplugs, and still hungover, semi-drunk, and didn't care, and I went and qualified with the 50 cal, and without earplugs, and for 3 solid days after that, 3 solid days, I had no hearing whatsoever. I was completely 100% deaf. Just a ringing noise in my ear for 3 solid days, and that was it's surprised. I have no idea why they didn't give me an Article 15 for being drunk. I don't know why, but they didn't. And I mean, I wasn't the only drunk one there that weekend, and maybe they were just, you know, like, well, you know, we don't want to give everybody an Article 15, so, you know, but it was a lot of fun, So anyway, there you have it. There are 2 of my stories for, you know, drunk stories for when I was in the military. Oh, went out. I think it's done. So till next time, may all your roads be smooth, chicken house is closed, may your pipe never run empty. God bless.